All right, we'd like to welcome Sea Island resident Harris English to the 2025 RSM Classic. Harris is making his 14th appearance here. What's it like being home and playing in this event this week?
I can't believe I've been here 14 years. It's awesome. I mean, we get kind of stuck in our routines for 25 to 28 weeks a year, and it's definitely different sleeping in your own bed and going back to your own house and doing that. But it's a lot of fun. A lot of family and friends coming out this week, and a lot of St. Simon's folks that don't get to see us play a whole lot. So it's awesome to play for them and be here at our home track.
We haven't seen you on tour since Procore. Can you just fill us in on what you've been up to and how the Ryder Cup was?
Yeah, haven't been playing a whole lot of golf here recently. I'm starting to get back into it. Yeah, the Ryder Cup was awesome. It didn't go the way that we wanted it to, but that was one of my main goals this year, was to make that Ryder Cup team, and so happy I did. It's the pinnacle of our sport. Had a great time with all those guys, and you get to know them a lot better than you do on tour. I mean, you're in the bus with them a ton, you're in the locker room with them a lot, going to a lot of dinners, and you get to see different sides of these guys, and it's an awesome bond and an awesome experience that we'll never forget.
You're the highest ranked player in the field this week. How does your game feel?
It felt pretty good today, but I haven't been playing that much. I haven't. I've taken a good off season, so the expectations are pretty low this week, which I think can be good. I've definitely been in the situations before where you have a lot of pressure this last week, and you're playing for your card, and I don't envy those guys that are in that position. So I've got to kind of use that to my advantage of going out and freewheeling it a little bit and using the low expectations to go out and have a lot of fun and see if I can get something going.
All right, we'll open it up to questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll start with Gary right here.
Hey, Harris, how you doing? You arrived at a stage, I think, on the PGA Tour where this doesn't necessarily affect you, the reduced field sizes, the reduced exemptions. But what's your thoughts on the new numbers game that's going to start next year?
Yeah, it's tough. I haven't really sat down and thought about it a ton. I mean, the tour has changed a lot since I first came on tour back in 2012. It's going to keep evolving. I mean, we got some smart guys at the helm. Now with Brian Rolapp coming in, he's seeing the PGA Tour in a different light, and sometimes change is good. I mean, I get that they want all the best players playing together more often. And the talk of the tour potentially starting after the Super Bowl, I think, is a pretty good thing because we can't really compete with football. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I know it's going to get tougher and tougher, and the goalposts are moving a little bit, and I know it's going to get harder for me. I mean, at 36 years old, I'm not getting any younger, but we'll see where it goes. I mean, everybody's in for the good of the PGA Tour and to make our product the best it can be, and whatever that takes is what it takes.
Okay. And you just mentioned Brian, who's got an NFL background. First of all, have you been able to get to a Jaguars game this year?
I have. I've been to two wins this year.
Which ones did you go to?
I went to the first one against the Panthers, and then I went to the Monday night game against the Chiefs.
Okay. All right. And especially, put your analytical hat on, football analyst hat on. The last 2 weeks, especially with how kind of Jekyll and Hyde this team is. First of all, how do you think Liam's done with this team to this point? And, when they're playing well, how much fun is it to watch that team?
Yeah, it's awesome. That Texans game a couple weeks ago, I actually stopped watching it. We had to go take pictures with Santa on the beach. And I thought we kind of had the win in the bag, and I kept looking on my phone. And when we got back in the car, we were down. And I was super shocked, but obviously blew out the Chargers last week. I think Liam's doing awesome. All the young guys on the staff, from Tony Baselli to the GM, Gladstone, all the young coaches, I think they're breathing a lot of new life into that team and into Jacksonville. And I think it's an awesome product to watch right now, and they're doing a great job.
We'll go over to Kathy.
When you said you got to know the guys on the Ryder Cup team in a different way than you'd known them playing on tour, Can you give a couple of examples? Did someone completely surprise you by being completely crazy, or you found out that they didn't like onions, or what kind of things did you find out?
We got to see a different side of Bryson, which I really liked. He kind of let his hair down a little bit. He had a lot of fun, and he probably loves the Ryder Cup more than anybody I've ever seen. So it's cool to see that. A guy that I haven't spent a ton of time with the last few years. So it was awesome to get to know Bryson more and to kind of see that side of him. And I haven't played with Scotty a whole lot, and we played a bunch of practice rounds together. And simple things of like watching him hit chips around the green and how he reacts to certain lies and picking his brain on some shots. Probably something different than like playing with him at the Masters. He's probably not going to share that information, but at the Ryder Cup, I mean, he was an open book to ask questions, and for me, getting to learn from the best player in the world and how nice a guy Scotty is that can help me with some of those shots around the green to get better at.
We'll go over to Gary right here.
What was the best question you asked Scotty?
There was this end of the grain lie around the greens that I've kind of always struggled with and tried different ways to hit it. And he had a very simple answer to it, and he does the same thing every time. And I'd never thought about it that way, and just watching him do it and then myself trying and like, wow, that's a big difference. Because he's a magician around the greens. I like the way he goes about his game, and I think we think similar. We're field players, and obviously he's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen, both in the gym, on the golf course. Great family guy. So just to learn some stuff from him was incredible.
What was that tip?
I mean, he more hits it with a square face and changes his stance a little bit, which for me, I kind of always thought I should draw it from those lies, and he just would square face and hit like a normal chip, and it comes out the same every single time.
You mentioned your off season, kind of in the middle of the fall season. It sounds like, is this longer off season for you than normal? And why was that dictated by physical issues? You just needed a rest after the Ryder Cup, or what was the reason behind this?
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of years, like I finished 55th last year, so I had to play a bunch in the fall to stay in that top 60 window to where I get in the first two elevated events of the year. So I played a lot last fall. And this one is like I had a little longer season, still gearing up for I played Napa, I played the Ryder Cup, so we had an extra 3 or 4 weeks that I was still playing golf. So it was nice to take a break and kind of let your mind relax a little bit and be home a lot. Go to a lot of football games, do stuff that I normally don't get a whole lot of time to do. So I'm kind of gearing up now and kind of still practice and prepare in December and get ready for the West Coast.
All right, we'll go to Gary.
Adam Schenk said something interesting yesterday. We got to the point about the reduced fields, reduced exemptions, and he said he thinks that the top to bottom talent out here is so good that almost doesn't matter. It's going to be hard regardless of field spots because he thinks that the game has improved so much across the board. I'm wondering if you agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of young guys probably in this field that you've never heard of that can easily come out and win this tournament this week. The depth of this tour is unlike any other, and it's just going to get harder and harder to compete out here and to keep your card. But that keeps me grinding and driving, and we've got a lot of young guys that are moving to Sea Island that keep me in check of not looking at these guys are coming to take my job, but it pushes me to get better and better, and I want to play out here as long as I can. And the sport, if you play the best golf for a few months, you're going to get in the best tournaments. Nobody's going to stop you. So if you're still playing good golf, there's still opportunities to play in the best tournaments.
And this might be dating myself, but I remember quite a long time ago when it was top 125 money and it would finish up at Disney. I was doing a story on the guys who were right there in that bubble, and I was asking some veterans, and Payne Stewart told me, well, they should have played better in May. So I know that's a kind of a cynical way to look at it, but does it matter just make more birdies? Is it that simple? Is that what guys are going to have to do?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the other leagues, they're all super competitive, and what you did 2 or 3 years ago doesn't mean anything today. I mean, the NFL cuts guys all the time, and we're getting pretty cutthroat out here, but if it makes our product better and more fans watch and more fans are coming out here to tournaments, then I'm all for it.
We'll go over to Ron.
As people talk about what the tour may look like down the road, there was some speculation that maybe the fall would get reduced, and yet suddenly Austin's got a tournament, Asheville's got a tournament. How do you view the fall part of the schedule, and do you want to see it remain sort of a vibrant segment of the tour?
Yeah, it's changed a lot since I was on tour. I mean, there was a time there where the fall counted a lot. It counted as much as the other season. I would play well in the fall, and it would really springboard me into the year. I've had a couple wins in the fall, so I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong. I mean, I'm putting my faith in the guys at the helm and having the direction of this tour to make it the best it can be. I mean, tournaments like this, I don't want them to go away because I know how much they mean to this community and a lot of these fall events. We go to a lot of places in the country that they don't get a whole lot of golf tournaments, and you can tap into a different fan base. And I don't really want to see them go away, but I think they'll find a time and a place for some of those.
Anyone else? We'll go back over here to Gary.
Getting back to what they're just talking about with the schedule, it seems like it almost seems ironic where the guys who aren't in the signature events are going to be under pressure to play more times, whereas the guys who are established and are playing the signature events, getting the extra money, getting the extra points, they kind of are disincentivized from playing more. They can play less. Wouldn't you want your top guys playing more and the other guys playing less? I'm exaggerating slightly, but I think you see it's like it's kind of odd. I mean, I know I've heard outsiders tell me that it seems like the guys, the top players, got into the treehouse and pulled the ladder up after them. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to change down the road, maybe in 2027, is have all the tournaments be equal and not have the 8 elevated events and then the regular events. Like, they'll have 20 or 22 events that are all the same, and I think that's a good model to have. And that's where we see all the top players play every single event because you can't really afford to take one off. But as it goes for the elevated events, like I love, even if they weren't elevated, I'd probably play all of them. I have for a long time. Really, Pebble's the only one that I didn't play for a good amount of time in my career, just where it fell on the schedule. I love playing on the West Coast. I love kind of getting off to that start of playing a lot of events over there and get your season started off good. But we'll see where it goes. I think they'll more go on where 20 events are all the same, all the points, all the money, everything the same.
All right, and we'll wrap right here with Adam.
A lot of those events in early January are ones where you've won or had a lot of success. How do you feel about the Hawaii swing or maybe even Torrey going away?
I wouldn't like that at all. Yeah, all the players are bummed that we're not going back to Kapalua. It's one of our favorite events, a fun start to the year. Bring the family out there. It's very relaxed. And then kind of roll into the Sony. Waialae is an awesome course. So it would kind of sting if those tournaments go away, and it would change up that West Coast swing. And, I mean, Torrey Pines has been one of my favorites. I've had a lot of success there, and I would hate to see some of those tournaments go away. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, I've got a lot of faith in those guys at the helm and Rolapp and the vision they have for the tour. And wherever they tell me I can play, I'm going to play.
All right. Appreciate the time, Harris. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it.